All right, well, we'll move on to our next picture book author, JuElle Rosewood. JuElle, you're welcome to take the screen.
Yes, hi everyone. I know everyone's on mute, but you can wave, just so I know we have some, I love interaction, so. But hi, and hi Stephanie, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for the link. My name is JuElle Rosewood. I am self-publisher and author of my first children's book called My Growing Family. I actually just have a book cover here. Yes. First of all, I just want to start off by saying a little bit about me. I am a wife and stay-at-home mommy of 3. I have a 5-month-old, a 2-year-old, and a 4-year-old. So I'm very, very busy. Life is very, very, very busy for me. And writing has just always been an outlet for me. But this is the first time I put it in book form. My Growing Family book was published at the beginning of this year. January is when I got the vision from God. And and ever since then, I've just been working on, like I said, I self-published it. Basically just found out all of the information I could off of Google, and I just followed the appropriate steps and did that. I actually found an illustrator locally here. His name is Nate Austin. So everything about My Growing Family book is local. You can find my book exclusively at www.mygrowingfamilybook.com. Yes, and also it is inside of 2 children clothing stores. One of them is in St. Clair Shores, Michigan. It's called Little Image clothing brand, and it's also a children's clothing store in East Point, Michigan. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the city, but it's called Smooches by Blake. It's also a children's clothing store where I have my book in. So that's just a couple of 2 places that I have it in besides exclusively at www.mygrowingfamilybook.com. So My Growing Family book is an easy to read children's book. It's a board book for toddlers and babies and for all children, but it's very easy to read for babies and toddlers. I'm going to just start off, if I may, just by reading the back of the book. So basically it starts off by having a quote from the book on the back of the book that says, "My family is excited, my family is blessed, and I'm so happy my family is growing." Explore a fun and engaging story that uses words like big, loved, and happy to really connect with children and ensure the emotions they may be feeling. Preparing for another baby in the home can sometimes be a struggle. This book embraces growing blended families with a positive light, as well as acknowledge the normalcy of the constant changes a family can have. Enjoy. So 3 major points about my book that I always talk about. First one is that it promotes positive communications in the household. So basically what that means is it opens up the floor. It is, like I said, it's very simple book for toddlers and babies, but it just opens up conversations, and it has positive affirmations all throughout the book to help help children with just speaking. I believe in your word. Your mouth has power, and your words have power. So all throughout the book, like I said, it says, "I am excited. My family is blessed. I'm so happy." And those are just like small affirmations, that children can just associate their those feelings with positivity. And another thing that I always note that my book does is it embraces growing families. So like I said, sometimes having another baby, or sometimes baby kids can feel jealous or feel any type of animosity about their mom or about a growing family. But what it does is just give them like I said, more positive affirmations by saying, "Oh, my family is growing, and I'm so happy that my family is growing." And another note that I always know that my book does is normalize blended families. So if you notice on the front of the book, there is basically 2 families. I don't know if you guys can see it, But what this is I wrote this book so that my son can see himself on the shelf. Like I said, I have 3 children, and my oldest child is his father is remarried. So me and his father are both remarried. So basically, it normalizes a blended family. It doesn't go into deep detail about a blended family. It just simply states, I have a mother and a stepmother. I have a father and a stepfather, and it ends that page by saying, I am very loved. Like I said, my son's 4 years old, and this is his reality. So I wanted to basically, like I said, so he can see himself on the shelf and be like, hey, that looks like my family. I have all these people around, and it doesn't mean anything, just means that I am very loved. Just more people to love you. I do also want to read, I have my flyer here as well that I usually ship with my books, and I also have them, inside the local stores I have. And it basically just touches on what it explained about the book, which just says My Growing Family Book. And it talks about how it does promote positive communication, embraces growing families, and normalizes blended families. So that is that. And also, like I said, a copy of the book. It is a board book. And like I said, it's very, 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 very easy to read. The first page, I do have my dedication page. And of course, I dedicated it to my own growing family. When I wrote this book, I was pregnant with my 3rd child, who's now 5 months. But yes, just to go into a little bit more detail, like I said, about the cover and everything. So this would be me and my husband, and my daughter, who's 2, and my son, who's now 4. And he also has a brother by his father, and his father has a wife. And that's how I got the depiction and the illustration. And like I said, my illustrator, Nate Austin, is from Detroit as well. So I just wanted to make sure I shout him out any way that I can and get his information. If anybody is interested in, maybe for other children book authors, if you want his information, you can reach out to me. I could definitely give you Nate Austin's information, because if you have an idea, he's very quick. He'll just depict whatever you want in that moment. So I definitely want to give so much thanks to him. And even when this video comes out, just to show like my illustrator, he just really got my vision for the book. So like I said, on this page is the page where it says, I have a mommy and a daddy, a little brother and a little sister. I even have a stepmom and a stepdad. I am very loved. And it has like family portraits on the picture. Like I said, this book is dedicated to all of my children. And, it definitely shows some representation. I believe that representation matters, especially for the children in our community. Being that this is Detroit Red and Room, it represents, like I said, a lot of children in our community. And not just for my child to see himself on the shelf, to see, all little boys and little girls self, make sure they're able to see some representation, whether that's skin color, whether it's just the size and the shape of your family. Like I said, my growing family embraces it all, embraces whatever family looks like to you. So again, mygrowingfamilybook.com. And I do have it in 2 local stores. And I guess at this point, I can just go ahead and open it up for questions, or even if you have any comments, feel free to say anything. Like I said, I have 3 children, so I love just interaction, period. So
thank you so much. Thank you. We do have questions in the chat box. A couple people are very curious if it was expensive to produce a board book versus a regular picture book.
Oh, that's a great question. And also I didn't say my book is for sale for $10. So yes, it's $10 books. Yes. But yes, it's actually more expensive for board books than a normal book. And well, it depends on, I guess, the printing company that you use. Being that I self-published, I was very heavily on Google. So I was searching companies here. I actually went with a company from China, and it was during pandemic and everything. So it was really hard to get in contact with a lot of people, but I ended up going because it was actually the cheapest route for me. So yeah, that's a good question. It would actually, board books are, I believe, a little bit more expensive than regular books. And I don't know why the questions are not popping up, right? I'm just,
I'll help you there. Elizabeth has
okay.
a question. Feel free to ask it, Elizabeth.
Okay, yeah.
Hey there, how are you? So I'm so impressed by and so glad that you chose to do a book about recognizing all the different kinds of families out there.
Yes.
So that's really, I couldn't agree with you more, because there's all kinds of families out there. And I grew up in a divorced family. I was one of the few kids that did. And it's nice to see yourself and to know that you are very loved if you have lots of parents and lots of, there's lots of people.
Just more people to love you. Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's a positive thing. But I wanted to ask you, and forgive me if you've already addressed this, but have you thought about doing consignment sales for your self-published book? And what I'm saying is, have you thought about with bookstores like Page's Bookshop in Detroit, Rosedale Park area? They'll take like 5 copies from you. You got to call the owner, Susan, but they'll take like 5 copies for you for a 60-40 split on sales. So if you've got printed copies yourself, just like I do, you can give like 5 copies to her, and when she sells them to you, you'll get 60% of that sale. And then a lot of other bookstores do that as well. BookBeat in Southfield, Oak Park doesn't do it, but there are other book sales throughout the state of Michigan that do. And if they're independently owned, you just call them up and you say, hey, do you accept books on consignment?
Wow.
And they'll tell you yes or no. And a lot of the time it's yes, if they're independent. And you can send them some books. Schuler's bookstore. They have locations in Grand Rapids, Lansing, and someplace else I'm forgetting, but they do it as well. And they're a major bookstore in Michigan. So that's a resource. And it helped me when I was doing that, because I was able to say, people would say, well, where's your book for sale? I'd be like, okay, well, it's Page's Bookshop, it's Schuler's, it's this.
Yeah. And
they'll keep them on stock for like a year. And then if they don't sell them, they'll call you up and you've got to go pick up your books. But that's a resource for you. I just wanted to pass it on.
Thank you so much. My husband's on here. I just made a note, like, write those places down. So yeah, hopefully he got that. So yeah, if you could comment them or either, just at least those 2 places.
I'll put my email in the.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, in the chat box if you wanna get in touch with me. Cool. All right.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Any other questions or comments? No.
Well, thank you so much. I agree. I love just the whole vision behind your book. So
thank you.
Good luck with everything and the sales, and
thank you.
I'm excited for what's to come for you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you.